So it's a profession elevating,
Mhm.
going forward, getting certification, and also I think increased awareness, as you pointed to,
Right.
of, people now know that there's a whole function in the hospital that's responsible for making
Yes.
sure that those instruments are safe when they get to you as a
Yes.
patient, which really underscores the importance of SPD has to be included in
Everything.
everything at the hospital. Yeah,
Right.
part of that multidisciplinary
They
team.
have to bring us to the table.
Right.
We're now on the infection control
Hmm.
committees. We're on the value analysis committee. Stop buying instruments and then asking me to sterilize it. And I
Right.
can't
You
tell
got
you
to
I
know
can't.
ahead of time,
Because
evaluate if you
now
can.
you own it and
Yeah.
it's sitting in the closet.
Right.
We're on the surgical committees.
Hmm.
I don't need the operating room to explain why the instruments weren't done right, because they can't.
Right.
They need to have the SPD come and explain what
Mhm.
happened
Yeah.
or what didn't happen. I need to sit there and tell a physician, stop having your loaner instruments delivered late
Hmm.
and expect us to have them ready for your case.
Right.
We're going to delay them every time if we're doing our job right.
Right. Because there is a right way to do
Right,
it.
there's a
Yeah.
right way. I'm going to say delay.
Hmm.
I would call to the operating room to the front desk and say, tell Dr. Booty Boo, not going to happen.
Right. Right.
And then I would say, your rep came and said you called him at 5 a.m.
Hmm.
and said you needed those widgets.
Hmm.
He just delivered them. It's 7 o'clock. Your case is 7:30. Not gonna happen, sir.
Right.
Not
Right.
gonna happen.
And I think that's another key point because it's not just the sterilization, doing the actual processing, it is the awareness that you bring of sterility assurance and how this
Yes.
all has to work, how it all has to fit together, and allowing enough time for things to be properly processed.
And then knowing standards. So
Yeah.
people don't always. I was very intrigued with you all's presentation. Standards. I took my first mission trip to Bangladesh in 1998. I know standards. I know the right way, I know the wrong way. I studied, I was ready. I took this 22-hour trip to Bangladesh. I get to Bangladesh with all my little supplies because I took my own brushes, my own gowns, my own cleaning agent. I'm like, I'm ready. And I get there and I'm like, where's the sterilizer? And they're like, what? And I'm like, the sterilizer. And they're like, there's this pot. They're like, this. I'm like, what is this? They're like, this is the boiling pot. I'm like, the
Hmm.
boiling pot? No, the sterilizer. They're like, no, the boiling pot. And I had to go and pull up the phone and pull up boiling because what they said to me is, we don't have no sterilizer.
Hmm.
This is what you got. We had patients in a line waiting on us. That year, I think we did like 30 people waiting for surgery. And I have a boiling pot, and I don't even know how to do a boiling pot. And I was like, arrogant American, how do you come to a country with all this stuff and you didn't prepare for a boiling pot?
You
Do
were
you know?
thinking, yeah, the
Yes,
same type of
you're not
technology,
in
and
America.
yeah.
It's just like Dorothy, you're not in Kansas anymore. And so but I had enough sense to go and pull up the information. And as much as I pulled up the information, I read a piece by Dr. Rutelia
Oh, yeah.
on how to boil instruments.
Mhm.
And I came back and I'm like, I'm ready. I can do missions because when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I
Hmm.
roll with it. Now I had people with me, text with me saying, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm boiling instruments." You not listen. We're in Bangladesh
Hmm.
in a
That's
village.
the way it's done.
I'm gonna need for you to go over there and be the tech and leave me alone over here with the boiling pot
Hmm.
because I have studied this and now I know what I got to do, and we don't have a choice.
Right. Right.
Dr. Booty Boo, don't drop nothing because if you drop it, I can only boil it.
Hmm.
And the thing about boiling is that it's not sterile, it's only high level disinfectant. But you have to know your basic standards to know what you are giving. For
Hmm.
me to go and tell the physicians, now I'm going to be giving you instruments that are high level disinfectant,
Hmm.
like Well, can we use these? Well, yes, sir, you can. Back in the day before we had sterilizers, you all remember you all used to put the bulletins between somebody's teeth to give them a swig of alcohol, and we put the little thing over the fire, and y'all did surgery. Okay, we're boiling, sir. And they were like, well, if you say so, Miss Golden, okay. And we got through it. The villages I went through subsequent missions, I'd have a sterilizer that they only ran once a day due to electrical issues.
Right. Hmm.
They're like, we don't care how many cases you do, we're going to run your stuff once.
Oh.
I had to learn to use the cookie jar method where you put everything in a big round can and you sterilize it and you take a Cheeto forceps and you take out what you need when you need it and you close it back and you come back later. That's against all standards in America, but I was in Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to adapt was one thing. And so I decided to teach while I was there. And people have asked me, what are you teaching? I only teach cleaning techniques.
Right. Right.
Because if it's clean, you can sterilize it or high level disinfect it.
Right.
Cleaning is the most important part of our job. I
Mm-hmm.
tell people if I had my way, people who work in decon would get paid the most money. They're the first level of defense.
Right.
And so I would clean, teach cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I did, Amanda, was I went to Isham and I said, I need books for my next mission.
Mm-hmm.
And with the books, I need for us to be able to award them a certificate that says they have taken a course, just a basic cleaning course of instrumentation, and certify them for that course, give them the CEs. Because what happened was these people that I dealt with in a village
Mm-hmm.
could take my course for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
get this little certificate, and move to Dhaka, which is the big city,
Mm-hmm.
and make $50 a month
Wow.
and send money back home and take care of people. Just from me being there, teaching and them learning and
Just
passing.
for having that, yeah, the
Just that
education,
little
that
bit.
certificate.
And that's what I did. I wrote my fellowship paper on boiling, the answer to high level disinfection in emerging countries,
Wow.
because that was what was going on then.
Absolutely. So that had obviously quite a profound impact, not just on the people that were passing through during those times getting surgery, but kind of a legacy to help people really
Yes.
advance their careers, learn,
Yes.
and be able to take that knowledge and move on
And
with
I
it.